So yesterday you worked on that energizing identity statement. Today, we are going to go through Tony Robbins' 10 ways to find your passion.
This is the guy whose tagline for a long time was live with passion. He's got that rip it open energy that Kay and I always love to talk about and bring forward to you here in the Kay and Shai Show world and family. And we're excited to rip those open with you right here, right now.
We've had some really cool access to some really cool people, and we want to share it with you.
We have an amazing interview series of some of the interviews we've done with celebrities like Dr. Deborah Tillman, America's Super Nanny, Dr. Joseph McClendon III, famous neuropsychologist, former professor of UCLA. We've got Dr. Bruce Lipton, author of Beyond Belief, and we even have John Maxwell, the #1 leadership expert.
Your sisters want to bring you into the room with our most exclusive access. So go to kayandshai.com. Right there on the homepage, you will see a button that says Get My Celebrity Interview Series, and we would love to share our access with you.
KAYANDSHI.com. We'll see you over there.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
Now, talk about somebody who really, I think, lives with barely controllable emotion and all kinds of, like, no wonder passion's your game, Tony, because, dude, you are the pro at barely controllable emotion.
Well, and Tony actually reflects a very similar journey to what we've been sharing this week, which is that everything was about passion for so long. And as he became more mature and had more experiences, he realized that that was too one-dimensional and that it was actually in conflict with some of the things that he wanted to achieve. And he started to refine his idea of what that ultimate goal for life is and has moved on than just it being passion. But while he was in those couple of decades, he really developed a sense for what it is that can light people on fire and how they can figure that out for themselves.
All right, so we're going to get into Tony Robbins' 10 ways to find your passion. If you want to read this article yourself, you can go right to tonyrobbins.com and see it there under how to find passion. But we want to go through it here and bring it forward because it is so good. Now, the first tip that he has for us is to shift your mindset and think in terms of positivity and possibility, right? That positive mental attitude gets us to great heights, and we don't even realize how much a negative mental attitude affects us until we start to see the compounding consistency of positive thinking.
He also encourages us to identify what our top driving human need is. And if you Google Tony Robbins human needs, you'll find out that he identifies 6 human needs that include certainty, uncertainty, connection/love, significance, growth, and contribution. But how each of us ranks those are going to be reflected in who we think we are and what it is that we want to achieve. So figuring out what it is for you can help you bring that awareness to what your passions and purpose are.
All right, step number 3 is to look at what you love. Tap into what you love now, or maybe if you don't have a whole lot of passion right now in your life, look at the things that you loved when you were a kid. Is there anything that you can resurrect in your life that would bring you a little bit of that zhuzh, or like Shyla said in Monday's episode, that je ne sais quoi?
All right, next up, he says, evaluate how you spend your free time. This will give you a good indicator of what you're already naturally inclined towards.
Now, the next tip that he has is for us to recognize our patterns. If we see our patterns at play toward negative thinking or character traits that we aren't proud of, we want to recognize it and shift it intentionally.
He also tells us to use the rocking chair test. Close your eyes if you can, but imagine yourself as the 90-year-old in your rocking chair on the front porch, reflecting on your life and reflecting on the current challenge, situation, or crossroads that you're at now. This can help give you a perspective of what it is that future you wants you to decide, even if deciding it in the current now is hard.
Now, if none of these things have brought forward your passion for you at this time, or maybe you need a little bit of of confirmation around your passion, this next step is to examine your fears. If you feel that excitement and that nervous energy around jumping all into something, chances are you're on to your passion. And we're not talking about that gut feeling of like, ooh, I shouldn't do that, but that like feeling that you get when you, to quote Brene Brown, dare greatly and get out there and do something that feels just daring and invigorating. I wish there was another emotion other than nervousness that I could bring forward for it, but it's this excitement, but oftentimes we cloak it in anxiety and let it be the thieves of our dreams.
Next, he encourages us to get unreasonable. In this dream scenario of what is possible, don't limit yourself with what your current circumstances or conditions are telling you are possible. So get unreasonable. Dream the biggest dream and then times it by 10. Think about what it is that little kid you really wanted to do before you had all these social pressures come in and influence you one way or another.
All right, next up, he says to get out of your comfort zone. Not going to expand much on that because I think you pretty much get it.
And finally, cultivate belief in yourself. Do the things that will demonstrate to yourself you're a person of your word, you keep your word, and continue to look back on your past and figure out how it is that you've showed up for you so that you can build belief around your ability to do it.
Tony Robbins has had an incredible impact on our lives, and we would highly encourage you to follow him on social media, attend one of his conferences if you get the opportunity, and we hope you've enjoyed a little bit of a sneak preview into his content today as we discuss all things passion and purpose this week on The Kay and Chai Show.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.